Hello, welcome to DIY Button Craft. I'm Ken from the Digital Services Department. Today we will be using the free software Silhouette Studio to design a 2-inch circular button with a pin back. Here's an example of what a completed button looks like. There are two parts to this project, the design and the assembly. The design part can be completed remotely. In order to finish this project, you will need to come into the MakerLab and assemble the buttons yourself, hence the DIY in the title of this program. In the second part of this video, there will be instructions on how to operate the button maker. To book time in the MakerLab, please email us at digitalservices@balibrary.org. Please let us know which date and time you would like to come in so that we can ensure that the button maker will be available for you to use. Before we begin the design, let me show you how to download Silhouette Studio. In a web browser, go to silhouetteamerica.com and then click on the software link at the top and then click Get Software. We want the Silhouette Studio software, so click More Info. And then scroll down a little bit. And then it will recognize which operating system you have. So if you have a Mac, it will already have Mac here, but this drop down you can get to Windows as well. So just click Download Silhouette Studio and then follow the prompts to complete the installation on your computer. Now that we've installed Silhouette Studio, open it up, and this is what a blank template will look like. The first thing that we want to do is change our document size to 8.5 by 11. This is because we are going to be printing out our document, and it's just going to make it easier for our printer to recognize that it's a standard sheet of paper if we change the dimensions. So go to the Page Setup tab. If you don't see it, it is this first button over here on the right hand side. For width, type in 8.5. And for height, type in 11 and then hit enter. So now we have the document size for a full-size sheet of paper. For this project, we are allowing customers to make up to 4 buttons. You're welcome to make additional buttons at the cost of 15 cents per extra button. All right, let's start with our design. On the left-hand side, we see that these are all of the tools that we can use. Go to the tool with the box on it, the drawing tools, and then go over to the circle and click on that. So we want to draw a circle on the page here. Hold down the Shift key and then click and drag, and then that will make a proportional circle. If you don't hold down the Shift key, then it's going to be more of an oval shape. So just be sure, hold down Shift, and then we want to adjust the size of this to 2.25 inches. So after you create a circle, come up to the menu, click this lock, and then type in 2.25 and then hit enter. And now we have a perfect 2.25 circle. Next, right click and click offset. This will create another circle outside of it. So the outside circle is 2.5 inches and the inner one is 2.25 inches. Now draw a box around both circles. Right click and then click group. Now when you move the circles, they'll both move together. Next, let's import our image. So go up to File and click Open. And then on your computer, find the image that you want to import. Click it, click OK. And then it opens it up on a new page. So we'll see this is the picture of corgis, and then untitled is where I just created the 2 circles. So click on the picture and copy it. You can either do a right click and click copy, or Control or Command C on your keyboard, and then go back to the first tab and then do right click paste, or you can do Control or Command V on your computer. And so now we have our image and the outline. Next, we're going to resize our image. If your image is really big, you're going to want to make it smaller. If your image is small like mine, then we're going to make it bigger so that it fills up both circles. So all you need to do is just click and drag on the corner of the picture and click to expand it like that. So get your picture to an appropriate size and then click on the circles, right click on them, and then click Bring to Front. So now we can see the circles on top of our image. If you want to make these circle lines a little bit thicker, you can. Just come up here and increase where it says PT. That will make your circles a little bit easier to see. To zoom in on Silhouette Studio, hold down either Control or Command on your keyboard and then hit the plus sign. And to zoom out, then do the same with the minus sign. So we're zoomed in here, we can see this a little bit better. I want to decrease the size of my picture a little bit so that it fits well. Position everything that you want to see on your button inside of the inner circle. The outer circle is just acting more as a guide so that we will have a little bit of extra space to cut it out after we print off this page. Okay, now let's select everything by drawing a box around both the image and the circle. Now we want to crop the image to the circle. So let's go over to the right-hand side. There's a menu that is called the Modify panel. Let's open the Modify panel. And then here we want to select Crop. And so now we see that the image is cropped to a circle. Next, I want to show you how to add text to this image. Click on the text tool on the left-hand side, and then click on the page here, and then go ahead and type your text. Then highlight the text by clicking and dragging. So we see it's highlighted in light blue up here. Now we can change the color and size of the font. Okay, so come up to the top menu in the upper left, and this first box, go ahead and choose which color font you want. I'm going to click black. And also, it's important to adjust the outline. Right now there's a red outline on the letters, and you can, change it to a different color if you prefer, or you can adjust it to the same color as your font, or you can click on this checkerboard icon and that will give it no outline. And also over here you can search through the fonts and find one that you like. And then adjust the size of your font with this drop down menu. I think for this button, you will probably want something between about 14 and 36. I'm going to click 24 for my font size, and I think that looks good. Now let's talk about placement. One option is to click and drag your text onto the button like that, and if you just want the font to be straight, then that's totally fine. You can adjust the spacing by clicking and dragging. If you want your font to be curved, I'll show you how to do that. Let's go back to the circle tool, and I'm going to create another circle by holding down Shift. And for this circle, I want it to be 2 inches. Next, double click on your font. Then click on the crosshair arrows. And then if you drag it over the circle, then you'll notice that it snaps to the circle. So if you want it on top like that, or on the bottom, you just put it inside like that. And then you can just click and drag. So now what I want to do is I want to keep the curve but delete the circle on the outside. So I'm going to right click on the text, and then I'm going to click convert to path. And now you can move the text independently of this circle. So go ahead and delete that circle, and then click and drag and place your text about there. And keep in mind, some of this on the edge of the circle will be cut off. So don't put the text way at the bottom of the circle, because then it for sure will be cut off. So yeah, just move the text accordingly, and yeah, I think that looks pretty good there. And then the last thing is to group the text and your background image. So just draw a box around it, and then right click and then click group. And so now it will all move together, just in case you need to move it, when you're finishing up your design. So repeat this process for all 4 of your buttons. If you want your 4 buttons to all have the same exact design, then just click on it and click copy and paste, and then move it over like that. Be sure to space out your buttons. Don't put them super close to each other, because we will need to cut out each design with a pair of scissors first, and then we have a tool in the MakerLab to do an exact cut of the circle. It also may be a good idea to bring a second copy of your designs, just in case something goes wrong when you are assembling your buttons. It's good to have a backup. So now we're ready to print. I'm going to go up to File and click Print here, and then go ahead and click Print again. And then from this drop-down menu, select your printer at home and click Print to finish. Now I'm in the MakerLab to go over the instructions for how to assemble your buttons. Before you come into the library, please book an appointment with us so that we can make sure that the button maker will be available for you to use. Also, be sure to bring in your printed out sheet of paper. Library staff will provide you with the button accessories as well as a pair of scissors. The first step is to cut out each of your buttons individually with scissors. You just want to cut out a square around them, because we'll do a more precise cut with this buttonhole punch. Cut your sheet of paper out so there's not a lot of margin on the side like that. This will give us enough space to slide into the buttonhole punch. And so we want to slide it in just like that, and then position it before we cut it out. Pull the lever to punch your paper. And this is the result. Okay, so now we have our paper, our metal shell, a little mylar sheet, which is kind of hard to see on video here, but this is just a clear mylar sheet. And then we have the pin back. Next, we need to place the shell inside of the pickup die. It might be hard to see on the video here, but the pickup die is labeled as well as the crimp die, which I will explain in a minute. So put the metal shell inside of the pickup die, like that. Next, put your piece of paper and finally put the clear mylar sheet on top of the paper. Now I'm going to rotate the pickup die to be under this upper die here. Now I'm going to use the red lever to press them together, just like that. And then you can lift up. Right now those three pieces are inside of the upper die. Next we want to put this pin back piece in the crimp die. We want to put it the same orientation that you put your picture. We want the pin to be toward the top. Now we can rotate the crimp die to be aligned with the upper die. Now we want to press the two dies together. And there is our finished button. Also, along the edges of the button, there's not a white margin. We see the full background even on the edges there. So there's my pin. And then just repeat the process for the rest of the buttons that you have. Thanks for completing this tutorial. Enjoy your buttons.